You open an app, a video appears, you watch it, then another, and another. Each one fits your mood, not just what you like, but how you feel. You didn't search for them. You didn't choose them. They appeared and they were right. And after a while, you stop noticing that you never actually decided. When systems recognize your patterns faster than you do, self-understanding stops being a human advantage. That's the shift. Human behavior is no longer just experienced. It's being anticipated. You assume you understand your own decisions. Why you choose something. Why you avoid something else. Why your mood changes. Why certain things feel right at certain moments. That understanding feels immediate, personal, internal. You believe your choices come from inside you. Even when they change, they still feel yours. You might not explain every decision perfectly, but you trust that, given enough time, you could. That belief sits quietly underneath daily life. You choose what to watch, what to buy, what to do next, and it feels like those choices originate with you. When people believe they understand their own behavior, self-awareness feels like control. You've probably felt this many times. A recommendation appears, and it fits your mood exactly. Not just your taste, your mood. The kind of thing you didn't even realize you were about to choose. And for a moment, it feels slightly strange, because it feels like the system knew something before you did. Not everything, just enough. The moment a system understands your behavior better than you do, control begins shifting quietly away from you. Modern systems don't understand people in a human way. They don't think, they don't reflect, they don't know you personally, but they observe behavior at scale. What you watch, how long you watch it, when you stop, what you click next, what you ignore. Across millions of people, patterns emerge, and those patterns become predictions. Platforms like TikTok and Instagram optimize for engagement. They don't wait for you to choose. They predict what will hold your attention and place it in front of you. Spotify does something similar. It doesn't just recommend songs you like. It predicts the kind of music that fits your current mood, sometimes before you consciously recognize that mood yourself. And the predictions are often accurate. When behavior patterns become visible at scale, systems begin anticipating decisions before they happen. Most people believe they understand themselves well, until a system predicts one of their decisions correctly, and then another, and then another. That's the moment something shifts, not externally, internally. Because the system doesn't need to know your thoughts. It only needs to recognize the paths your behavior tends to follow. And once those paths are visible, they become predictable. At first, prediction feels helpful, convenient, efficient. The system saves time, reduces effort, removes friction, but something subtle changes. The prediction arrives before the decision. The suggestion appears first, and your choice follows it. Not always, but often enough that it begins to matter. You may notice this in small moments. You open an app to search for something. The recommendation is already there. You click it, not because you had fully decided, but because it matches what you were about to choose. And for a moment, you pause, because you're not entirely sure where the decision came from. When predictions consistently arrive before decisions, behavior begins forming inside environments shaped by systems. The system isn't forcing your choices, but it's quietly narrowing the path they take. And the more accurate the predictions become, the less visible that influence feels. Because it feels like you. And once you can't tell where a decision came from, it becomes harder to say it was fully yours. Nothing obvious breaks, which is why the change is hard to notice. You still make decisions. You still feel in control. You still believe your choices are your own, but something has shifted quietly. Understanding yourself is no longer a uniquely human advantage. Systems track patterns continuously, without fatigue, without distraction, without hesitation. They don't need to understand why you do something. They only need to recognize that you will. And often, they do. You may start noticing this more often. A suggestion appears, you follow it, not because you analyzed it, but because it felt right. And later you realize you never fully decided. You followed something that was already predicted. When systems understand behavioral patterns faster than humans recognize them, self-knowledge begins moving outside the individual. The question changes. Not, what do I want? But, what is the system expecting me to choose? And once that shift happens, something subtle disappears. Not freedom, not choice, but the sense that those choices begin entirely with you. Your thoughts still feel private, your decisions still feel personal, but behind many of them, patterns are already being recognized, mapped, and sometimes predicted before you notice them yourself. Because if something understands your behavior before you do, it doesn't need to control you. It only needs to stay one step ahead. If something else can understand your behavior faster than you can, who is really in control of your decisions? If this felt uncomfortable, it's because self-understanding has always been one of the ways humans stay in control of their lives. Now systems are beginning to learn those patterns too. Tap like if this helped you recognize something you may have already experienced. Subscribe to become part of the Unlocked, where we explore how intelligence, systems, and power quietly reshape human control. And if someone you know believes they fully understand their own decisions, share this with them. Because the most important shift isn't that systems can predict behavior, it's that they may begin understanding it faster than we do. Because the future isn't coming, it's already here.